Chris, what is our first main topic today?
Our first topic comes from Jason B. Didn't know if you saw the article in the Hollywood Reporter that Tom Cruise lawyered up over Paramount's plan to put Mission Impossible 7 on Paramount Plus 45 days after it hits theaters. The dust-up with Cruise looks to not only affect Mission Impossible 7, but 8 as well, neither of which are finished. With the movie moving more towards streaming, do you think Cruise is still a big enough star to get his way? Or will Tom have to get with the times? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yes, it's always been kind of funny when you hear about big stars who have a lot of clout getting into a dust-up with their studio, particularly a star in a studio that have worked so well together as Tom Cruise and Paramount have historically, and with all the stuff that they've been able to accomplish there. Well, it ain't all holding hands and singing Kumbaya around the Tom Cruise Paramount camping trip right now, because apparently they're going to war with each other. And they're going to war over Mission Impossible 7 and probably Mission Impossible 8 over the whole idea about how the films are going to be distributed. This comes to us from the folks over at IndieWire, who write the following. The real impossible mission, landing a compromise between Tom Cruise and Paramount Pictures. In an expose in the Hollywood Reporter, multiple industry insiders alleged that Mission Impossible 7 is now at the center of a distribution battle between lead star and producer Tom Cruise and production company Paramount Pictures. After multiple COVID-related production delays on MI7, the studio is setting up a 45-day theatrical window for the latest installment of its tentpole franchise before bringing it to Paramount Plus, per sources. Cruise is set on a more traditional, but certainly outmoded in 2022, 3-month window. Cruise allegedly has hired a lawyer to come to an agreement with Paramount, but they're waiting until MI7 is finished to resume negotiations. For Cruise, 45 days is like going day and date, a Paramount source told the Hollywood Reporter. He also felt like setting a date when the movie could be seen on the service would be discouraging to people from going to the theater to see it. And that again all comes to us from IndieWire. This is an interesting battle because on the one hand, the 45-day window is now kind of the new norm. It's becoming the new norm. You know, the Batman is going to be on HBO Max here pretty soon, even though it's still making money at the box office. So maybe that was short-sighted on their part, but it is becoming known that 45 days is now kind of the standard. And Paramount Plus, whose service is getting better and better, is looking to bolster its content offering and wants to put MI7 as quickly as they can onto that service. I get that. Tom Cruise, on the other hand, these Mission Impossible films are his baby. Like this is his. And he's like, I put my life on the line making these movies. I hang off the side of planes. I go into outer space. I do, what they call halo jumps. I do all this kind of stuff. And you want to take this thing that I'm making, you want to put it on streaming in 45 days? Says Tom Cruise. And there's not many stars left in Hollywood who have the type of power, let's say, the type of weight that they could actually confront a studio with that and try to make them bend a little bit. There are still a few directors who can, but not even many directors who have that kind of ability. So it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes. I think there needs to be a compromise here. I think 3 months is never going to work. I mean, I personally think that should be maybe 2 months, 3 months should be the standard release window, but it's not anymore. And in this world, 3 months will absolutely not work for a streaming service. Paramount will not go for 3 months, which is 90 days. 45 days, though, I got to agree with Tom Cruise for a movie like Mission Impossible 7, which has always done well for these guys at the box office. Always done well. He doesn't want to cut it off at the knees where like it's making money in week 3, but then people are like, oh, wait, it's just like 2 more weeks till we can watch it at home? We won't bother going to see it. So I think Tom Cruise has a point here for a movie like Mission Impossible 7. I think at the end of the day, guys, this is going to come down to a compromise. I think what we're going to find out is, Paramount Plus will show it 60 days after or something like that. I don't think Tom Cruise is going to let them win with 45 days. And these guys want to stay in the Tom Cruise business. but I also don't think they're going to give in to Tom Cruise and give him 90 days. So that's how I'm kind of seeing it right now. Rob, it's an interesting scenario for sure. One that we're not going to see many of these in the future. Because again, these stars are not going to have this kind of power. 45 days is going to become new normal. Do you see where each side is coming from, and how do you think this is going to shake out?
Look, I mean, I think that it all comes down to, are you leaving money on the table by pulling a film from its theatrical release too early? I think, like with everything, it comes down to that. And as we are seeing with a movie like Spider-Man No Way Home, that movie had legs. And I think it needs to be open-ended in terms of, there's got to be a decision make. Like you said, there's very few movies that are worthy now of a beyond 45-day window. And I think big tentpole properties starring a movie star like Tom Cruise would be one of those things. And I think, like you said, as a compromise, make it 60 days. 90 days, as you pointed out, it's too long. In this new landscape, 90 days is just too much, because what you want to do is you want to sail off a very successful theatrical run into a streaming run. 90 days is too much. People have forgotten, they've moved on. John, that's an entire summer. You know, you don't want that. And if a movie is, I would start out and say, base it on performance. You know, if your movie comes out and it's making $200-300 million when it opens, then you open it up to 60 days immediately based on performance, and you leave it there. 90 days is too much. 60 days is probably what it should have been the norm, but not every movie is going to warrant staying in the theaters that long. Make it performance-based and say, you know what, if this movie opens to $150-200 million, you get 2 more weeks in the theater. Do something like that. And I think that's a compromise, and it works for both parties. But I understand Tom Cruise is protecting his position. But the proof is in the pudding, man. And these Mission Impossible movies have been on the one franchise that's on an upward trajectory since, what, 94, 5? It's the craziest franchise ever. And all it does is keep making more money.
Chris, you're hearing about this. We got Tom Cruise versus Paramount. One wants 45 days, one wants 90 days. It's a star versus the studio. How do you see this? Which side is right? How will it shake out? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's hard to say who's right? Because it really does come down to if it can make money. That's really what this is. 45 days does seem like you're really, really cutting it close. So I'm hoping that there is some kind of compromise there numbers wise. If you could do 60, 90 days, fun fact, that's how long it takes you to get paid as an actor most of the time. So
net 90.
That's why I'm just like, well, I mean, we all could just stick it out like that. These are wildly successful films though. I mean, Tom Cruise does have a lot of power still, I feel. So I think there is going to be some kind of numerical compromise here. 45 days is cutting it close. I'm thinking they'll move to something like 60. But man, it must be nice to be Tom Cruise and be able to have this conversation in the first place. Because think of how many other films, they just go straight to streaming. And none of the people involved really getting any say in it.
You could have ended that sentence early. It must be nice to be Tom Cruise.
That's very true.
That just applies in many, many, many different ways. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think Paramount has some points? Like, listen, we've got Paramount Plus. We need the content. MI7 is a big high-profile thing. We want to get in there as soon as we can. Do you side with Tom Cruise on this? Say, look, we've poured our blood, sweat, and tears and lives into this. You are undercutting us by putting it out in 45 days, and I'm standing firm we want longer. How do you guys see it? Which way do you think it will pan out? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, we want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, Athletic Greens. Now, I started taking Athletic Greens because I don't eat enough vegetables, and I was looking for a way to make up for that deficit in my diet of those vitamins and minerals that I really needed in my system, and thank goodness I found Athletic Greens, and I literally take it every morning. You see, with 1 scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods, source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, all the things. And my wife got onto it, and now she absolutely loves it. You know, tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high-quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb like Athletic Greens. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with a convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Campea. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Campea to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.